Is the Earth flat or is it round? My guest tonight, David Weiss, has those answers for you. We'll be right back. Grab your popcorn and snacks. Find a comfy spot, take a seat or lie down, and let me transport you to a place of fantasy, ghost stories, ancient legends, odd creatures, alien encounters, and other magical topics. You may even decide to join the conversation. From faraway lands to your own backyard, with a small dash of pixie dust, turn out the lights and open your minds. The journey is about to begin. Hey guys, happy Monday. How's it going? Easter week, right? We're coming into another holiday, and spring has sprung. Still rainy here, but California. But I think this is going to be the last round of rain. I really do. Anyway, my name is Charlotte. I'm going to be your host for the next hour. I'm also the owner of the California Haunts. Hang on. I just dropped off. That didn't take long. I'm also the owner of the California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team based out of Sacramento, California. Just a quick warning. Everybody in this neighborhood has Xfinity. And there's a lot of news out there today, a lot of political news, and so everybody and their brother's home right now checking into their computer, so just an FYI. Anyway, I'm also the owner of the California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team. We are 45 strong based out of Sacramento, but we're up and down the state. I have people everywhere. So that means if you have something going on that you want looked into, we can do that for you. It might take us a couple days because it's a big state, but we will do that. Okay, that being said, if you're watching from Facebook tonight, and a lot of you are, you haven't done so already, you like what you see and hear, please be sure to hit that follow button. Same thing with YouTube. If you haven't subscribed yet, please be sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got over 900 videos over there, and it's all of this show, all different topics. This is one of my favorite topics, is to talk flat earth theory, so it should be fun. Please subscribe to YouTube. And that goes for Twitch as well and all the other social media places. If you need to find us, just Google us, California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team, and we will pop up all over the web. We do have some events coming up. I do have a coffee with the Ghost Hunter on Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific, and you can find that link at the bottom of the description for this show. Or you can find find us at the California Haunts Paranormal Investigation Team meetup. We also have psychic readings going on Saturday by medium Nancy Matz, and it's spring. We're going to talk about spring and renewal and things like that for the readings. So check that out at the meetup as well. Okay, see, I'm hurrying this along because my guest, I can't wait to talk to him. What can I say about Flat Earth Dave that he can't say himself? So let me bring him on, and let's get this thing going. Hello.
How's it going? What's going on? How you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. You said you said something that you said the flat earth theory. Flat earth is not a theory. Flat earth is the default position. I mean, with every one of our senses, every test, everything ever shows us a flat, non-rotating plane from our observations, from our measurements, from our experiments, from NASA manuals, from the FAA manuals, from CIA documents. Everything says a flat, non-rotating Earth from the Bible. So the conspiracy theory is that we live on a lumpy rock, floating in a space vacuum with curved, smooth water on it, which has never been measured, with high-pressure air adjacent to a void. Okay, and everyone, well, of course that's what it is. Of course, because that's what I was told when I was in kindergarten. I didn't have the ability. I didn't have the ability to question it. And it was stored as truthful information, and everybody knows that. So it's 2024. It's time to wake up, people. If you don't know the Earth is flat, then you haven't really used your God-given common senses.
Well, let me ask you this, because I've been doing research on this, and I've been hanging out with some groups on Facebook, so I was prepared for this. What about the ice wall? Because there's a lot of talk about there being an ice wall.
Well, the ice wall is what people call the ice wall is the shoreline of our pond. Now, if you think about it, large bodies of water at rest lie flat, right? If you have a bathtub, you don't have the side of the tub, the water goes away, right? And a pond needs a shoreline that's higher than the surface of the pond. Well, our world pond, all of the oceans in the world are a giant pond, and the sides of our pond are Antarctica, right? They want you to believe that the edge of the world is, you know, a disk in space and boats falling off the end, when the truth is this is the end of the world, the edge of the world right here. This is the shoreline of Antarctica. Antarctica is the highest continent on Earth. They don't teach you that in school. And it's the only place that we don't have free, unlimited access to go explore ourselves.
I find that interesting, you know, because I know people that have been in the Navy and have been in that area, and they talk about the ice wall as well.
Well, let me ask you a question. If a wall is 10 feet thick, is that a thick wall? Pretty thick, right?
Yes. Yeah.
What if the wall is 1,000 yards thick? Is that a thick wall?
That's
pretty
a really
thick, right?
Wall. Right?
Yeah. What if the wall is thousands of miles thick? Is that a wall or is that a shoreline cliff of a continent of more land? Right. I think that Antarctica is bigger than all of the oceans and all of the other continents combined. But we want unfeathered access to go explore what's going on out there. But unfortunately, we're told that Antarctica is a continent at the bottom of a ball, 13,000 miles around, but no one's able to circumnavigate. The last person that tried went over 68,000 miles, kind of like it's set up more like this. This is the shoreline of our world. This is what contains the water of our Earth plane, Plane, the add a T, you got planets, right? And so Antarctica, all of this is Antarctica. So what's out here? What's beyond that red line, which is 60 degrees south? Even we're talking to somebody who was a contractor doing some work for the military in Antarctica. And when they cross that 60 degrees south line, they're intercepted by a warship, by a military ship. They're boarded, and then another person from that ship takes over captaining of the boat. They're not allowed to captain the boat beyond 60 degrees south. So what's going on out there? And Antarctica is also the only place that we're not allowed to go not allowed to go physically, and we're not allowed to go there virtually. Because if you try to measure it on Google Earth, it won't let you.
Interesting. That's really interesting.
Yeah.
That's fascinating. Now, when you talk about the flat Earth, and I've seen like different things, like in the different flat Earth groups of how you can see across the Earth. You get up high on a mountain, and technically, what they're saying is that you can see for thousands and thousands of miles. Is that right?
No, you can't see for thousands and thousands of miles.
Okay.
Just like I can see through a glass of water. That water's clean. I pour that water into a pool. The pool water's clean. If it's a big giant pool, I can't see the far end of the pool, the wall, because the liquid becomes opaque over distance. The atmosphere becomes opaque over distance. So you can't see very far at all, because even on the clearest of clear days, right? Let me just show you. This is where are we? This is in Malibu, looking over at Mount San Jacinto, and it's 123 miles away, and you can't see it. It's actually a blue sky, but if you put on an infrared lens, you can see it. You can see the whole mountain. And at that distance, there should be over 7,000 feet of curvature. This mountain, I believe, is just over 7,000 feet high. So we should just be able to see the tip of the mountain, but there's the whole mountain. Okay. But that's only 123 miles, right? That's only 123 miles. Here is a shot looking out across the ocean. These are people in Illusion, France, looking out towards Mount Canigou, 175 miles away, and you can't see it. And the reason the Globers say you can't see it is because it's below the curve, because at that distance from that viewing height, the top of the mountain should be over a half a mile below a physical curve. But if you believe this is a physical curve, you don't understand what the horizon is. The horizon is an optical place. We can get into that if you want. But as the sun migrates in between the two tropics, so twice a year it lines up, as it's going from the Tropic of Capricorn to the Tropic of Cancer, it lines up with the viewing spot, and it backlights Mount Canigou, and the light that's bouncing off of Mount Canigou can't reach your eyes, but the sunlight's stronger. And as the sunlight goes beyond, it looks like it's going down just because of perspective. It backlights it, and here's the whole mountain. The very top right here should be over a mile below the curvature. but it's right there. It's right there. Again, these things that I'm showing you here are enough proof. This is all you need. You know, the Globers will scream refraction, right? Refraction, right? They say that the mountain is over the curve, the sun is already set, but the sun's refracting up, and the mountain is also refracting up to block the refracted sun. And the reason your brain short circuits when I say that is because it's stupid. It's really stupid because that's not how things work, right? Here's just another one. This is, you know, the higher you go, the clearer the air. And using the Earth curve calculator, calculating for the height of this mountain, we can see 8 mountains over here. We can see them all. They're all lined up right here. The tops of these mountains should be over 40 miles below a physical curve. Okay. Does that mean that the fact that we can see them if the Earth is flat? Well, I think so. But if it's a sphere, it's got to be thousands and thousands of times bigger than they're telling us. So, hey, they tell us there's 8 continents or 9 continents, whatever. I don't even know because they're lying. That means there's 8 or 9,000 continents or maybe more. So they're lying. You know, people say, well, what difference does it make? What difference does the shape of the Earth make? You know, I still have to go to work on Monday. You know, why would they lie? What are all wars? What are all wars fought over? Money and land, resources and land. Well, what if they're hiding more land, more resources, more civilizations, more freedom, right? So there you go.
What got you to thinking about the flat Earth? Because there had to be something. I mean, you obviously went to school like I went to school. So what changed your mind about what you had learned?
Well, you know, it's one of the first things we learn in school when you're in kindergarten. They literally give you a worksheet that shows you the orbits of the planet, of the sun and the moon and Mars, and you know, they show you worksheets like this and to make you laugh at the ball. And when you're a kid, you don't have discernment. You don't know how to. You think everything a teacher tells you is truth. So you know. I forget the Nazi that said it, that, you know, give me your kids until 7 years old and I'll own them for life, because everything they say to them is like talking to a hypnotized person, because they have no conscious filter. They have no ability to filter out information and store it as completely and totally ridiculously false. You know, if you just landed here as an adult, you know, disappeared on Earth today, you would determine that the Earth is flat and non-moving. And then when someone tried to tell you it's a spinning ball going around, you know, in 30 different directions at once, you would laugh at that person, and there was no way you can convince them. But because they taught you, you know, at a young age that, you know, we're orbiting like this, and then later you find out, well, not only are we orbiting around the sun like this, we're chasing the sun at 500,000 miles per hour. All these planets happen to be on the same plane. Weird, right? They're all on the same level, chasing the sun at 500,000 miles an hour. Dumbest thing ever. So dumb that people just short circuit. They're like, well, I'm not smart enough to figure it out. No, you're smart enough to understand that it's too dumb to figure out. It's something that doesn't make any sense. The whole gravitational heliocentric model is complete and total BS.
And when you finally, you know, came to this realization, what type of research did you do to prove this?
Yeah. So what happened was I was looking into other conspiracies. I had a podcast called Deep Inside the Rabbit Hole. And people say, hey, Dave, have you looked into flat Earth? You know, and we always, you know, like people are like, hey, have you looked into this? Have you looked into that? You know, this is not real, 9/11, you know, the whole deal. And then I said, no, I'm not looking into that. That's too stupid. And I came up with the term banned for life. Like, if you want me to go waste my time and watch a flat Earth video, you're banned for life. You can never comment on our social media again. And I did that for months and months and months. And people just kept sending me stuff. It was becoming super annoying. So then one day, my friend Sophia Smallstorm, she's like, Dave, I think the Earth might be flat. And I couldn't believe that she said it also. A brilliant woman. And she said, here, watch these videos. And I said, okay, let me just watch these. That way I'll just find out what's wrong with them. I'll prove them wrong. And I will prove the Earth is a globe and not flat. And for 2 weeks, I tried and tried and tried and tried. And I could not do it. The more I looked, the more I realized that it was absolutely impossible to see what they were. You know, none of it made any sense. So one of the things that got me was was boats going over the horizon, right?
Mhm.
And then being able to zoom them back in. So I bought a P900 at the time. It had just come out, at a Nikon P900 super zoom camera. Went down to the beach. I happened to have a perfectly clear, dry, no humid day, and I was able to zoom in on a buoy over 10 miles away. And that buoy should have been over 60 feet of curvature. And I immediately thought, the curvature formula must be wrong. I went to some of the debunking sites, and they're like, "Oh, you share the curve, because you're here on the Earth, and the thing's over there, so it's half the drop. It's not like you're on the top and down," which is stupid. But I was like, okay, there's only 30 feet of curvature. How come I can see a 10-foot buoy? And that was the beginning of my journey, right? And like right here in this picture, you don't see a boat out here, but we're just increasing the angular size. And as we increase the angular size of things, look, there's a boat right there. We're not zooming over a curve. We're just zooming in, bringing it back into our visual resolution. My finger, if it was a wave, it can't really hide that boat unless my finger was in the foreground. And then the whole boat disappears from the bottom up. It's not going over a curve. It's sitting right there. It's just out of the ability for your eye to resolve it. And right there, that's part of it.
I find this so fascinating. Like I said, I've been following flat earthers for a while. I used to be a globie. I'm a glober. I'm kind of on the edge now on this. So that's why I wanted to talk to you about this stuff, because it's just to me, it's what you guys have come up with is fascinating.
Let's talk about the horizon. So right here, I have a bunch of pencils on the floor, and they're all separated by the same amount. Okay, and I'm up high looking down at them. Right.
Sure.
And now I'm gonna bring the camera down, and it's a little hard to see, but we're gonna go down and watch what happens to the space in between. These are getting closer and closer and closer together, just because of my angle of view. And when I get all the way down, what you're gonna see is, I think there's about 25 pencils there. What you're gonna see is the distance between the first one, which is over here below the screen, and this one is probably equal to the rest of them combined, right? I mean, look at it. This is about halfway up the picture. So this space here, this space gets smaller and smaller and smaller and smaller, and to the point where you can't resolve it anymore. That becomes your horizon. That becomes your horizon. Now, yes, there's a giant bookcase beyond there, so you can see stuff above the horizon. But if there was nothing, this was a Home Depot floor, at this distance right here, that would be my horizon. Like if I put another pencil on top of the pencil, the fifth pencil from the end, I wouldn't see the rest of the pencils or all the way across the entire Home Depot. They would be gone, right? And that becomes your visual horizon. And then a boat, for example, like a giant cruise ship, can disappear behind that. So the question often asked is, how could a 3-foot wave block a giant ship, a cruise ship, from a 6-foot tall person? And I'm going to show you, right? So, and again, to be a glober, it's easy. Believe we live on a globe, you're done. Because you don't have any proof. You don't have any proof, right? So here we go. So I got a 3-foot wave here, and I got this guy 6 foot tall, and he's looking over the wave. Now, what's important right here is this tiny little space in between the far edge of the wave and where he can see the water. So this small space. Now, as I move this wave outwards, this space gets bigger because the angle is changing. See, this space between where he can see the water over the crescent of the wave gets bigger and bigger, right? So all of that space, right? So here we have a cruise ship. Now, this is an orthographic sideways view, and I can see the bottom of the cruise ship in the water. And the farther out it goes, even though it's getting smaller, I can still see it. I can still see where the cruise ship hits the water. So that doesn't explain it. But if we move a 3-foot wave way out there, I just moved it out there, it's tiny now, and I can't see it, okay? And if it's out to that point where those pencils all become indistinguishable from each other, then the cruise ship is just going to get smaller and smaller and smaller and not really go much farther away in my visual space, right? Remember the pens. If the let me just bring it back. If the cruise ship was right here, right? So from here to here is the same as from this yellow pencil 10 pencils farther. It's like it all becomes a literally an optical horizon. So the ship will just get smaller and smaller and smaller and disappear. You can lose an entire city behind a 3-foot wave. The thing is, though, ocean swells and waves, they're actually bigger than that. And whenever you see a video from the anti-flat earthers about, oh, look at this big ship going away, look how windy and wavy it is. You wouldn't even be on a boat that day. There's 6, 10, 12-foot waves out there. And of course they're going to block your view. Of course they're going to block your view. Yeah,
Absolutely.
so look at this. You don't see any boats out here, but as we zoom in, all of a sudden you can see these boats. And now there's some nice swells out there. Not a lot of waves, but look at this boat. Is it behind the horizon or is it just behind the swell? Look, up. Oh, look, there it's visible, and you can see the water beyond it. Look at this boat, right? They're just going, this is your optical horizon, and the boats are just on the other side of it, right? See, this boat isn't below the curve of the earth. It's just below a wave that your view over that wave can't resolve the boat because the boat's getting smaller and smaller. Watch this boat. Watch this guy totally go down, right? He's not sinking. He's not below the horizon. This is just an optical horizon. The horizon is an optical point of view. And once you understand that line you see out there is not the curve of the earth, then you can start wrapping it wrapping it all together.
Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Yeah. Is there any place that you can go, on Earth where you can get, like I mentioned earlier, to get up on top of a mountain and actually see this flatness?
You can see the flatness from an airplane. You can see the flatness from, we send balloons up to 127,000 feet, higher than any mountain, and it's completely flat. I don't know what's going on with my screen here, but it's totally flat. But and that, I believe that's about the highest we can get is 120,000 feet. No one seems to be able to get any higher.
Now, I'm going to play devil's advocate here. What about the stuff that's being beamed down from, say, the ISIS station?
The International Space Station.
Yeah, International Space Station. Yeah, tell me about that.
Yeah. So again, NASA is if you catch them faking stuff on the ISS just once, then you can't trust them. If you catch them twice, you can never trust them, right? And if you catch them doing it again and again and again and again, then something's going on. NASA does all of their training in a pool. They have a giant pool with a full ISS in it, and oftentimes on their spacewalks we see bubbles floating around, kind of like they're in a pool and they're filming and they're using a green screen. And this was a documentary that was going on, and we saw the green screen on one of their screens. Right? Why would they have a training pool with a green screen, right? And when you look, this is stuff they show us from space, and this is all could all be filmed right there in the National Buoyancy Lab.
Okay.
I'll show you a few screw ups on the ISS, and then you'll realize that hey, they're faking that. Why? Watch, where'd that guy come from? They're using layers. They're in green screen rooms, right? Where did he come from? Right? Where did he come from? And then this guy fades in, fades out. Well, what's going on there? Looks like a little camera trickery to me. Here is a spacewalk, and watch this. So first, the Earth is looking pretty flat, right, from the space station, right? And then look at this strap. Look what's going on right here. It's going in and out of a layer. It's going in and out of a layer. Watch right there. What's going on there? Right? So again, they're using layers and all sorts of stuff. This is a funny one. This is in 1999. They all had Christmas hats on there. Cool, funny, good use of our tax dollars. And then in 2023, all of their hats are up because they're in zero gravity, right? Did they forget about the zero gravity in 1999? Right? But you can make an excuse. You can make an excuse for that because you could say, oh, well, they pulled them down, just to look, so they all look the same, right? You could say, You could say everything. Here's a question for you. You ever play with, a vacuum chamber? When you put anything in a vacuum chamber, it explodes. How come this guy in his snowboarding suit doesn't explode? This balloon is trying to explode because I put a little air in it that's higher pressure than the outside air. But this guy's got high pressure in a vacuum. He should explode.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right? NASA only put somebody in a vacuum chamber once on Earth. And before they got the air out, his mouth started to boil. His tongue started to boil. He passed out. And they literally had to depressurize it dangerously fast, or otherwise he would have died. Right? So, it's crazy. And, on the space station, they had a little glitch with the layers, and everything that was blue turned orange and orange turned blue. It just switched around, and we caught it. Like, what are they doing? What's going on there? Why are they messing around with layers like that? Here's Kamala Harris. Oh my God, the vice president talking to the people on the space station. So cool. And then they always have to do something to make sure that you're like, oh, look, that's cool. That wire, he has to keep pushing it down. But they had a little CGI problem with the wire, and it goes right through his hand and wrist. I'll zoom in. Ready? Watch it. Come up. Right through his hand. Whoop, right through his wrist. Okay? Why are they faking stuff like that? Why are they faking stuff like that? Right? And there's a whole bunch more, but my favorite one is they got some fresh fruit on the ISS, and they were playing with a lemon, and when they grabbed it, the augmented reality didn't work so well. Let's just zoom in, and you'll see. Watch, slow motion. Look at the lemon. Right? That watch isn't even on the person's hand. Everything, it's all augmented reality. It's all, and a lot of this stuff is consumer level that you can get now. It's amazing. It's amazing. So I can go on for an hour showing you fraud after fraud after fraud. But since I showed you that, then everything that comes from the International Space Station, or the International Fake Station, as I call it, is complete and total garbage. Garbage.
Okay. Understood. Yeah, that is crazy. I do video work, I can tell you. Yeah. Yep. Yeah. I can tell you. They can do a lot of good things with video.
Yeah, they do. It's all fake.
Without that. I wanted to ask you, speaking of space, I had done some research also, that about the rockets, as they take off through the atmosphere, that I heard somewhere that there is a barrier up before they can get out of the atmosphere.
Well, we don't know what's up there, and all the NASA rockets, whenever they actually launch something, most of the times they don't. It's fake. It's just a helium balloon, and it doesn't get up very high, and then they just show us a cartoon. But there was the Go Fast rocket, which was a private rocket. I think Red Bull sponsored it, and it went straight up, and it had an uninterrupted view, and it had a sideways camera and a downward camera. And it was spinning rapidly, but NASA, SpaceX, all of those, every time there's a launch, it's edit, 7 edits before it clears the tower. But this thing went kerplunk. It went into something thick, like a plasma, not like water. Like if it hit water, it would have been brutally, right? And then it was floating kind of weird, and it was up. They said 72 miles. Maybe it is. Maybe it's that high. But the interesting thing was we could see the moon, right? Earth is looking flat. We could see the moon. Why is that interesting? Because that was shot up in Arizona around noon. So it's over here. Here's the sun, 11 a.m. Central, right? 10 a.m. Eastern, right? And the moon was all the way over in Australia. So if this is the Earth, and Arizona is on the top of the Earth, and that rocket is a millimeter. 72 miles is nothing. It's a half a millimeter above this ball, and the moon was below the ball. How did they see the moon?
Yep, that's the video I see.
Yeah. And all of the stuff I'm showing you now can be found on my app. It's the Flat Earth, Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app. It's going to be available on Mac, hopefully this week, and then it'll be on PC after that. But it's available on all smartphones, Android and Apple, and iPads and tablets. And if you want to like find any videos, anything, they're all there in the frequently asked questions. Oh, I'm not even showing it to you. The frequently asked questions section, which is kind of amazing. And if I click that and you go to, where's the rocket? Do I have rocket launches on there? Gotta load for the first time here. Are all pilots and scientists in on it? Stars, International Space Station, all the videos I'm showing you and so many more are in there. That's a great section. All kinds of stuff. But I was trying to show you on the more resources page, which is the web button. You click that, and I think you go to the bottom, and here's the full uncut video. It's getting harder and harder to find of the Go Fast rocket, along with all sorts of other resources. Moon mission nonsense. Watch these, and you'll know we didn't go to the moon, and so much more. Faking space with blimps, right? Okay, balloon rockets. This is a very this one will make you cry because you're going to lose all of your space fantasies. And then all sorts of other information on here that YouTube happens to be hiding it all from you. So there you go.
Why do you think that, we've all been raised to believe that we're literally floating in space on this globe? Why do you think they do that?
Well, there's a very good reason. They've programmed us to believe in the ball, and when you try to take a ball away from a baby, baby's not going to be very happy about it. But then transfer that into an adult that has their entire life based around that belief, and they don't want to let go of the ball either. The reason they tell us we live on a ball is because it separates us from who we truly are. It separates us from the Creator. It makes us believe that there's very limited. The world is very limited. When it limits our thoughts, it keeps us in fear. They have us believing in nonsense and ignoring, starvation. When NASA makes more money, the space industry worldwide makes more money than all of the film, music, gaming, and professional sports added together. Right now, the space agencies are a bigger money laundering operation than that, and literally they just make fun of us. They're laughing at us. It's unreal, And CIA Director William Colby testified that the American mainstream television, newspapers, and magazines that they control. The CIA is involved in all news media, so they totally are controlling the news. And they just want us not paying attention, not understanding who we are. And this is an energetic spiritual war. And people just don't believe that's even a thing. That's how they get away with it. So they use us for our fear energy. When the truth is, we're born in God's world, in nature, as inheritors of this realm. And they created a fake realm. They can't change nature, but they can try to pervert it. So they perverted it by creating the satanic ball. And if you play on their ball field, you have to play by their rules. And if you look at the heliocentric model, it's crazy. All of the numbers all equal 666. 6 times 6 times 600. It's the circumference of the Earth. The Earth curves at 0.666 inches per mile squared, 66.6 thousand miles per hour around the sun. 6 times 6 times 60 is the diameter of the moon. That's just the beginning. That's just the beginning of the amount of sixes that are in there. And of course, the National Aeronautic and Space Administration add up those numbers, those letters, and it's 666. Is that just a coincidence? Is it? Interesting. Yeah, somebody freeze frame this and read all of these sixes in there. There's just too many. It's crazy how they put their calling card on all of their nonsense. But if you fall for their nonsense, then that's on you. We're here. Right. You have God-given discernment. People go, well, what difference does it make? I have to go to work on Monday. You know what? What if you realize that they're hiding free energy? What does that mean? What if you didn't have to pay for fuel for your car, air conditioning, or heat for your home? And you could have as much of it as you wanted, and it was good for the earth. Imagine if you had that ability. Maybe you'd become an entrepreneur and you'd create something amazing. Maybe you'd start gardening and doing all sorts of things you wouldn't have to go work for the corporations, but they want you working in their meaningless jobs and doing, their bidding, and living in this satanic system. So, what difference does it make? I still have to go to work on Monday. What difference does it make? It makes all the difference in the world.
Another question I have for you is, as a globe here, and again, the way we were taught, the Earth is spinning, and so it's spinning at a great rate, which is causing this gravity. How do we get around the thought about this gravity if everything's flat?
Well, gravity, that's actually wrong. The Earth is spinning. It's trying to throw you off. The centrifugal force is trying to throw you off, but gravity is trying to hold you on. Okay. Gravity is a made-up theory that they had to throw out. Here's a question. How do millions and millions of tons of water float in the sky and not fall down? Why doesn't gravity pull the clouds down? And the answer is because they're held up electrostatically, right? The flat earthers are crazy because we think down is down, and for everybody, where where the globe thinks, oh well, we're spinning, and and down is antipodal to the person on the other side of the Earth. And if the Earth was spinning, why wouldn't this person be kind of thrown sideways towards the equator? Anyone standing up on that curve would be pushed. Think about the centrifugal force, but like, oh, it only goes around once a day. It's going 1,000 miles an hour at the equator. It's diving a mile a minute. Don't tell me you wouldn't feel that. Imagine in a car going on a road 1,000 miles an hour and taking a turn. You're veering to the right at a mile a minute, so 60 miles an hour to the right. Don't tell me you're not going to feel that. You're going to feel that. Okay, you actually would probably die. I don't know. I mean, going that fast. So, Walter Lewin from MIT, he says that all this world is held together with electric forces. That's what hold everything together. So, real quick, I'll just give you a quick thing. The sun and the moon are close. They're part of this giant electrical battery system. The anode and the cathode of our battery system. The Earth is the salt bridge, and the salt water carries the current. That creates a battery. Look up your chemistry, right? So we live in this toroidal electric battery system. The Earth is has a negative charge to it, what they call a negative charge, and anything above the Earth, the sky has a positive charge. So negatives and positives attract each other, right? So here we have some leftover party balloons, a helium. And we got a little button on here, and it's just floating about 2 inches above the floor. And we have this wire that goes to a Van de Graaff generator, and we're gonna add a positive charge. We're not making it heavier. We're just adding a stronger positive charge. And when we do, it goes down. Okay, so that's interesting. Why did it go down? Did we make it heavier, or did we just make it more attractive to the electrostatic? Discharge, it goes up. This is a tinfoil triangle. We put a negative charge in it. We turn it off. It goes back down. We turn it back on. We leave it on. It goes up. Now, are we defying gravity, or are we defying something else? Electrostatics, right? So
right.
here is MIT created this. It's called the silent drone. It's got no moving parts. It kind of looks like a skid, right? And it flies. Why is it flying? Because it's electrostatic. The XRT-3B, whatever, the triangle aircraft that the military has, they admit that it uses electrostatics to lift itself and to propel itself forward, right? And it probably pulls that electricity straight out of the air, right? Well, what if you had a car that did that? Wouldn't that be nice, right? What if you could travel anywhere around the world on electrostatics, right? They don't want you to know that, right? And the last thing is about electrostatics is I just did a demonstration showing you that those electrostatics are real, testable, provable, scientifically manipulatable. Gravity is just a theory that's 96% wrong. They had to make up dark matter, dark energy to say, well, it doesn't work. Therefore, we have to make up 96% of it. Therefore, it does work, right? Because it has to work, because it has to be real. No, that's a crap theory. But they tell us that the electrostatic force is 10 to the 39th power stronger than gravity. So let's pretend gravity is real, okay? 10 to the 39th power? 10 to 30. So if you were holding a 2-pound weight out, and I'm gravity, and I'm pulling it down at 2 pounds of pressure. Okay, I'm gravity. I'm just tugging on your arm and giving you 2 pounds of pressure. All right, you can hold it up, not too bad. But if I'm the electrostatic force, I'm pulling it down 10 to the 36th power stronger. What if I was pulling it down 1 trillion times harder? 1 trillion. can't even fathom what a trillion is. That's only 18 zeros. I got 18 more zeros to add on to that, right? So how can anyone claim gravity has any force at all when we can prove, and they say the electrostatic force is 10 to the 36 power? The reason they tell us is because people are just like, oh, that's too many zeros for me to calculate what that means. People have no idea what a trillion is, right? I don't know how much stuff you've been listening to mine, but do you know how long a trillion seconds is?
A long time, yeah. Absolutely.
Do you know how long?
No, I don't, but I know it's long.
It's 31,000 years.
Wow.
Yeah. So times that times 1,000, right? 31,000 years times 1,000, and then take that number times it times 1,000 again. That's only 18 zeros. We got to do that all the way up to 36. And it's that much stronger than gravity. I'm sorry, gravity is no contest. Gravity is non-existent. Gravity is a made-up theory, and electrostatics are what hold this world together. That's why during lightning storms, things fall at different rates. They've been measured to fall at different rates. When lightning strikes the ground, sometimes the person standing there will go flying in the air. Why? Did it change gravity, or did it turn the ground positive for a split second?
What is the biggest thing that convinced you that the Earth is flat?
Well, first it was, boats over the horizon. Then it was, just understanding how the sun sets. And, and I did a famous video called The Sun Fade Out, where I found that on super clear days, I could film the sun with my drone when it's super dry, and it would see the sun fade out before it would go away. Okay, so here the sun went down, 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 and it stopped. It sat here. It just sat there, and it didn't go away. It just sat there, and it should be going down if the Earth was spinning. And I don't care that it's out of focus because I am zoomed way, way in. But watch, it never goes below. It just can't push through the atmosphere anymore. This is a perfectly clear day. I'm going forward and back here. Perfectly clear day. And so that's just the sun going away. And then when I understood that the sun circles around the Earth, it just circles around, right? And the sun is the hour hand. The sun keeps track of the hours and the days. The moon keeps track of the weeks and the months. And the stars keep track of the seasons and the years. The stars lap the sun once every 365 days. So the sun will drift back through each zodiac for about a month. Right? That can't happen in a heliocentric, gravitationally forced beehive of a solar system. Right? When you're driving on the road and there's a forest to your side, whatever, everything changes position due to parallax. The trees near you go by really fast. The ones in the distance go slower, and everything changes due to parallax. Right. Never once in the history of all history have any two stars crossed each other's path. Right? Remember, we're corkscrewing through the galaxy, going 4.5 billion miles a year, never to return to where we were before. 80% of the stars, they tell us, in our galaxy are binary, which means they orbit around each other. So not only while they're spinning through the galaxy in the galaxy's arms, they go around each other, and never once have two stars changed positions from our point of view. That's impossible. Why are all the stars in the same focus as the planets and the moon? Take a telescope, zoom in, get perfect focus on a star or a planet or the moon, and then switch to another body. It's in the same focus. Now we could focus beyond it, before it, or dead on it, and then move the telescope, and it's still in focus. Kind of like they're all at the same distance, whatever it is that they are.
Right. I have a question in the chat room that says, why then when you throw a ball in the air, it doesn't float? Or when someone jumps from a high area, they fall?
Yeah, because when you're in the air, in the sky, on the floor, up high, away from the Earth, you have a higher positive charge, and you are more dense than the air, right? The downward force is very weak. It just establishes, electrostatics establish the down, but you're heavier, and so you go down. The reason down is this way is because the electrostatic flow, there's a flow of electricity that goes down into the Earth constantly. It goes down into the Earth. Maybe in the center at the North Pole, which they don't let us go to, maybe it goes the other way there. I don't know. It's a toroidal field. I don't know which way it's going. I think it goes like this, right? So we have this downward flow of energy, and that's why anything in the air has the positive. How come when I let go of a helium balloon, it goes up? It's less buoyant than the air around it, and it goes up. That's it.
Absolutely. What do you say to people that are dead set on believing that this is a globe?
Enjoy your ball. There are people that are here that are not they're not able to wake up. They're too deep. And I look at them as, maybe an NPC is a real thing. There's some people that you just can't waste your energy on. But anybody that says the Earth is a globe, and it absolutely is, and you're a moron. And I'm like, okay, well, I've been studying this for 10 years now. And how long have you been studying it? Well, the Earth is a globe. I'm like, okay, what's the diameter of the Earth? What's the radius of the Earth? How far is the sun? How did they determine how far the sun is? How wide is the sun? What's the speed of the orbit of the Earth? They can't answer any of those questions, but they're defending the globe, right? And I'm a moron because I think that I observe that the Earth is flat. Here's the thing. No one's ever measured curvature. No one's ever measured curvature, ever. Every test to measure curvature has failed. Every test to measure axial rotation has failed, right? Every test has always failed. We can see too far. A ball has a physical limitation. A 6-foot-tall person at the edge of perfectly calm water, no waves, standing up, should only be able to see the surface of that water for 3 miles, according to the globe. Now, if there's any waves on there, it should be shorter than that. And if he sits down, it should be way shorter than that, 3 miles. But we can look out there and see the surface of the water 10 miles away, farther, right? 20 miles away on the right conditions. So here's a question for you. If the Earth is not curved, then it's what?
It has to be flat.
Right? If the Earth is not moving, then it's what?
Stationary.
Yeah. Right? But a staunch globe believer that has no idea why they think it's a globe cannot answer those questions. They're like, they'll just choke up, right? And that's because I'm not saying that the Earth is flat or anything. I'm just saying if the Earth doesn't move, then it's what? And they can't say it. That's how strong the programming is. It's amazing.
I saw you on another program with a scientist or somebody that was supposed to be a scientist.
No, you didn't. You saw me on what Google is pushing, and that's a guy, a failed musician, who's called Professor Dave, right? Okay. And that's the one that they'll push you. But if you actually watch that video and see how stupid it is, on the app, on the web of More Resources page, there's a debunking the debunkers. Click that, and up comes a playlist, right? Okay. And one of them is Flat Earth Dave destroys Professor Dave. And what it is, it's a guy that analyzes debates. He doesn't take either side. He just analyzes them for logic and fallacies. And then he keeps score, and it's hilarious. It's hilarious. Dave broke the record for ad homs and fallacies and did not even understand, the simple things that I was saying. I was naive going into that. I thought the guy, hey, he wants to know the truth. He doesn't. He wants YouTube views because he gets pushed. His videos get 100,000. That video has 4.5 million views on it, and it's for weak-minded people. Like, people can watch that. A lot of people watch it that globe earthers, and they email me and they go, "Hey, Flat Earth is stupid, but why did that professor act that way?" And so now they've emailed me, so now I have direct contact. And I say, well, he's not a professor. He's a failed musician and a dropout. And I said, here, watch these videos that they would never have seen if they hadn't emailed me, right? And so a couple days later, they'll watch a couple of videos. And that's also on this page. If you go down to this right here, full length videos, I give them that list. I say, just watch the first 3 videos on that. And then a couple days later, they email me back. They're like, holy crap, this is real? They're like, their minds are blown because they just assumed that Flat Earth was the dumbest thing ever, like I did, like we all did, right? So the thing is, YouTube does a great job hiding all of this stuff from the average, someone looking for flat Earth. If you Google flat Earth, you might as well just say be a Glober for life, because you're going to get nonsense, right? They even hide it from your own YouTube history. You search, you watch a whole bunch of real flat Earth videos from my channel, from Jeranism, from Globebusters, from Taboo Conspiracy, whatever, and they're in your history. Search your history for flat Earth that they're all tagged with, and none of them will show up, but the propaganda videos will show up. Right? Well, that should wake you up right there. The government doesn't want you to see our videos, and they're faking that you've watched propaganda videos just so you'll watch them again. It's amazing. I was just watching a great video from Robot Polisher is the name of the channel, and what comes up after it is another NASA push nonsense scientist that is lying to us. And here's the other thing: if the Earth was a globe, why would they have to lie? We did an experiment down at Salton Sea, and they had a helicopter down there, and Nat Geo is down there, and they lied twice. They made the helicopter go behind the curve, which wasn't there, and they edited it in, and we caught the edit. We showed where the same birds flew by in two different scenes, and the waves were the same. Literally, they lied. They faked it. Stephen Hawking faked it, right? Then they had regular people helping, and there's one girl, she's like, I'm not a scientist. But then we found another show that she's in where she goes, I am a scientist. So again, another lie. And then they did an optical illusion with a flag. And again, that's in the Debunking the Debunker section on the app. Or you can use the video search and search Nat Geo. It'll come right up. And they did an optical illusion, and with a laser and these stripes going into the water. And they were just, it's so stupid. I mean, they shot a laser at the boat, and they said, okay, it's at knee height, right? And then the boat went out, and then they shot the laser again. It was up high. Well, who leveled the laser? You move a laser a fraction of a millimeter, and it's going to be 30 feet higher in the, a couple miles away, right? They didn't. It's just like the stuff they do is so stupid. Again, it's for weak minds, and for them, they've got the advantage because anyone that's gone through school, especially higher education, has a weak mind because they memorize and regurgitate. If you did really well in school, you have a weak mind because you are a memorizer and regurgitator. Right? I think if you go in the video search and you just search Nat Geo, let's see if it comes up. Nat Geo. If not, it's on the Debunking the Debunkers. Oh, there it is. Boom. Nat Geo, this video right here. So on the app, the Flat Earth Sun, Moon, and Zodiac Clock app that you can find at flatearthdave.com. It's $3, one-time charge. There is a subscription for like 5 higher function features, from video calling to people and all sorts of stuff. That's $11 a year, or you can just recommend the app, get referral points, and get it for free. But it's only $3. So there you go.
You just talked about the not professor guy. How frustrated do you get with people? Because I know there's people out there, and I see it on Facebook and the Flat Earth groups I've in. How frustrating it can be for Flat Earthers to have to deal with people that still believe the Earth's round.
Well, there's a couple different types of people. There's lazy people that have never looked and just assume, and that are willing to look, and then maybe they'll come around. And there's other people that are just not willing to look, and then there's deceivers. There's people that just want to be right. See, Flat Earthers, we don't want to be right. We want to know the truth, and the truth will set you free. And that is the case. So, we look for listen. I don't believe the Earth is flat. I know it's flat. Right now, is there a dome? I believe there's a dome. I believe there's a bigger dome than most people believe. Right? Some people believe there's no dome. Some people believe the sky's flat. Okay, but we all know one thing for sure. The Earth ain't a globe in a scientifically impossible space vacuum. There's not burning balls of gas called stars burning in a vacuum, trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of quadrillions of miles away. I mean, the distances they give you make your brain just short circuit. So, all of that we know. Flat Earthers know that we don't know everything. Globers think they know everything, and they don't know anything at all.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
When you say we're in a dome, can you describe that for everybody?
Well, again, we don't know what's above us, and we don't need to speculate to we don't need to speculate to prove the Earth is flat. We can do that 100 times over, but I don't mind speculating. So I think that the Earth, we kind of live in a pond, and there's a dome going over the pond. Now you can look at that biblically. You know, the Bible says that we live in a dome. You know, that there's a firmament above us. God separated the waters from the waters and created a firmament. Right? There's no water shortage. Just more what everything is 99.999% water. It's water above, water below. We're just on this plane in between, in this bubble. I think that's where we live.
Okay. Well, I can tell you, you know, I'm a backyard astronomer. Love to go up to the hills. Yeah. Love to lay down on my back and look up. And I'm laying there one night, and it occurred to me. It reminded me of being in a snow globe. You know, just to see how
but here's the thing. If let's say you just arrived here into existence out of nowhere, you know, and you're here and you got your telescope and you're in the backyard and you're looking, can you tell if those lights are small and close or big and far? You can't. No. There's no way to tell. Now we could. You know what's interesting? You can take your telescope. I can take my super zoom camera and I can zoom in on New York City from where I am down Long Island Sound. I'm about 30 miles away. And the detail I can get on the buildings is okay, right? But then I can zoom in on the moon. I can get much greater detail. Does that mean the moon's less than 30 miles away? In my book, it does, right? And I think that the moon is, you know, I think the moon and the sun are more supernatural and aren't even actually in a real position. They're in a position based on the observer. The observer sees them in a unique position that is appearing in their personal atmospheric dome. That's a much deeper conversation. On the app in the homeschool section, there's a part called Schooling the Globers. If you want to get deep into some topics, Austin Whitsitt has some great stuff in there.
Absolutely. Dave, it's always fun to have you on.
All right, time's up. That was a fast hour.
It's always a blast to have you on. Thank you.
All right, flatearthdave.com. Anybody that wants me on a show, you can book me there. Find the app there. Spread the word. flatearthdave.com. See you guys.
All right, sir. See you guys.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye, Dave. All right. Yeah, it's always fun to have him on. And yeah, my opinion, you know, has changed a little bit over the years. You know, the last time, and Bill pointed this out. Bill, I see you in there, Bill. You know, last time Dave was on here was in 2021, and back then I had that, you know, I looked like a deer in the headlights, and I remember that show. So I have been doing my research. I have been on Facebook, taking a look around. Am I still convinced? You know, am I truly convinced that it's flat? No, but I'm a lot more open to it, to looking at what you know, like what Dave has to say and what others have to say, and I've been doing that. Anyway, tomorrow, shifting gears, tomorrow we are going to be talking about haunted locations, haunted bars, haunted houses, haunted hospitals, and that's going to be with author Mark Leslie. So that'll be our usual time, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, if you guys want to join us. And just a quick reminder, let me get them straight here. Just a quick reminder that there is a coffee with the, let's say editor, I'm a newspaper person. There's going to be a coffee with the Ghost Hunter on Thursday at 9 a.m. Pacific, where we just sit down, you know, virtually and just have a coffee together. You guys can ask me anything you want. Could be about flat Earth, could be any topic, and I'll try to answer to the best of my knowledge. Okay, Saturday at 2 p.m. Pacific, Nancy Mass is going to be doing spring readings. Spring is a time of reinvention, and maybe you have a question about what's coming up in the future, or maybe you want to make a change in your life. This is a good chance to ask Nancy and see what Nancy thinks is going to happen. Okay. All right. Well, that being said, I'm out of here for the day. And I want to thank Dave for coming on again. It's always fun to have him on, and you always end up learning something. I mean, that's what this show's about, is to be educated and to learn. So I think we all got educated pretty well today. So I want to thank you all for coming tonight. And if you like the show, share it with 5 people. If you hated the show, share it with 5 of your enemies, you know, because we're equal opportunity here at California Haunts Radio. Just trying to get the word out on our little show. And check us out. Like I said, we've got more than 900 videos sitting over at YouTube. And they're all different topics. I'm a journalist, photojournalist, and I like to have different topics on the show. So you're going to see something that you like, I'm sure. All right, guys, I will give you Dave's contact information, and then we will call it a day. So here we go. We've got some websites here theflatearthpodcast.com. I don't know if he's doing it anymore, but that came up on my list. And we've got flatearthdave.com, of course. And then he does have a video on, if you can find it. It's called The Next Level. All right, guys, I will see you tomorrow. Usual time, 6:30 p.m. Pacific, with author Mark Leslie, and we're going to be talking about haunted hotspots. Bye.